YouTube, here's my attempt at a really short video. I always fail at really short videos. There will be a much longer video where I just rabbit on forever, which I'll probably put in the link. Maybe not tonight, or maybe like next week or something. I picked up a Peavey ValveKing Royal 8 amp, which is says on the front, a Class A all tube amplifier. So it's all valves. It's 2 valves, kind of like an input and an output valve. Very basic amp. Does have 2 inputs. It's got like one that says gain, like a sort of gainier one, and a normal one, 1 and 2. A gain knob, a tone knob, and a master volume knob, which is pretty good because it means you can like kind of have the gain up really loud and then the volume down really low, and you get a sort of distorted sound. Just do a wee demo of it because there aren't any on YouTube. I think it's maybe just because it's a bit old, the amp. So it's like if you go back, I think there was one video for the Tone King, that was it. So I'm not doing any processing or anything like that. I've got the mic sitting there, the same one I'm talking into. The amp's sitting there, which I'm probably going to be pretty much standing in front of, but I won't be standing in front of not between it and the amp, between it and the mic. I read somewhere with a name like Royal 8 is kind of meant to be a sort of Vox type circuit, which is fine. Just using, it's got an 8-inch internal speaker, using my my Fender Strat, it's a Japanese 90s one, and it's just going straight in. Oh, okay, tell you what, I was actually had it running through my pedal board, but if I just put it straight in, then there's no faffing about. So this is into the low gain input, and that's now really going straight into the amp with no effects on because there's nothing on. That's me got the gain at 12 o'clock, the tone at 12 o'clock, and the master volume at about, I don't know, 9 o'clock? About a quarter of the way. Is that right? Yeah, aye. It's actually numbered. So I'll put it, I'll say the gain's at 3, the master volume's at 3. When I'm in position 4 on the guitar, the tones are up at full. Just should middle pickup. Listen to. Let's pick up. Back position 4, my favourite one. It's quite dynamically. It works well with the volume control. So you got like a bit of drive there, even though we're talking, the gain's at half and the volume's at like a quarter. You can really clean it up just by. How do people do videos that only last 5 minutes? I've not done anything. Anyway, so what I'll do is I'll crank the gain up to full. I'll put the master down a little bit just so it's not as loud. So here it is with the gain at full. So this is kind of. Turn the tone down a wee bit. Tone to a quarter. go into the other input, I'm going to hit the master volume down to nothing now. So if I go into the other input, input 1, I'll put the gain back to half, and then the volume back up to a quarter. It is a bit more gainy. So at that, even though this thing's only 5 watts, that's already at slightly uncomfortable to play in the house volumes. So I suppose the other thing is you've got to see how when it goes when you max out the gain. So that's the gain at full in the gain channel. I'm going to turn the master volume down a little bit, so it's not quite as... Turn the tone down a little bit, maybe that's what the tone's for. Turn the tone down in the guitar. Maybe not quite as much as that. Again, what happens if you turn the volume down? It's not quite going to Sabbathy, just... Maybe if I turn the volume down a little bit. You can play, so it is Sabbathable. I'm not going to... volume at half for 2 seconds because it's going to be loud. Yeah. That really does... this is me just... I've only just got it. I've been playing about with it last night. So here's that's the end of my short video, which was only 5 minutes long, coming in at 9 minutes. As far as I know, it's unmodded, although it didn't have a handle on the top. It was missing, so I had to put one on. And so I don't know, I can't really review the handle, but what you do is you do need a handle on an amp. When I picked it up, it was just one of those things, go, oh, yeah, no problem, take it out to the car, and it's just like, oh. Yeah, so they're underrated, having a handle on the top of your amp. So that's just one off an old, I don't even know what kind of amp it came off. I think the guy who I bought it off had some dogs, so I wonder if maybe it was a particularly nice chewy handle and the dog maybe chewed it, and that would be why it was taken off. It's really the only reason I could think of for taking it off. So I had to go inside the amp to put the handle in, because I wasn't just going to drill holes in it in case I drilled through part of the amp. So I took it to bits, I took the head out, and there's really nothing in it. It's like you look at it and it's like, I don't really know anything about amps, but there's not an awful lot of components, like 10 or something. You've got like 2 valves, the 3 knobs, like a transformer, and it's a circuit board this size. It's got pretty much nothing on it, like half a dozen things, 10 things. One thing, if you look up reviews of this, it always says it's missing an external speaker cabinet socket, so I put one on when I was in there. That's pretty easy. That's within my realms of modifications. I'm not using... my plan was to put it through the 3x12 sitting on the floor, but just now it's just running in its internal speaker. It's a dead easy mod to do, even if you're not that, you don't want to go inside the amp. Basically all you really have to do is take the two wires that go to the speaker and put them in a socket, like put a jack socket on the end of the two wires coming out the amp, and then put a jack plug on the end of the two wires coming from the speaker and stick them together. Then everything's the same, and you can just unplug that and stick in another speaker cabinet. It's an 8 ohm speaker, so ran 8 ohm speaker through it. But I mean, I'm really amazed at how good it sounds just as it is. Really, it's like, my test for amps is always, if you turn it on, how long does it take you to get a good sound? And really, to be honest, you just turn it in, plug it on, really just touch the volume, and you get into the territory that I like an amp to sound like. So my 5-minute video is already at 11 minutes. Okay, so I'll probably just leave it at that and do a longer video. I'm going to stick a loop pedal on and get some proper jamming over a backing track things going on. But I mean, maybe try some other guitars through it. For some reason I'm just using my Strat today, and it seems to really like the Strat. It's kind of the sound I want. It's probably quite a good demonstration tool for using different guitars. It's like you probably hear the difference an awful lot more going between this and like a BC Rich or something and an amp like this, just because it's so basic. It's kind of one of those things that there's not that much in it. There's not that much to go wrong. In some ways, it's actually superior to the wee Laney that's on the floor there, which is an LC15, which is a much more expensive amp. Mainly, the main thing is it's got a big red light on the front and a switch here, and you can see the knobs, whereas the Laney's got the stuff on the back, so you can't actually see without actually going up and looking to see whether it's on or not, or what the knobs are set to. I never really use any of the knobs on it anyway. It's just kind of so recommended. These things used to be cheap. You see, I think looking them up on the very few old YouTube videos there are of it, folk going up here, yeah, it cost $99. It's like, and you don't get it for $99 now. That was new. It's like, no. Maybe Peavey doesn't have a particularly well regarded name. There was a raft of these came out round about mid 2000s when you get your Epiphone Valve Junior, and there was a Fender Champ 600 or Champ 800s, and a Laney Cub. There's a few wee amps kind of this basic idea where it's basically like the most basic small valve amp you can get. The idea being that you can crank it to get like in the house type volumes, but to be totally honest, even if it's only 5 watts, it cranks way louder than you would want in the house. Really, I'll maybe try it. I'll maybe go down to my pal Ali's house next time I'm over and see if it could keep up with a drum kit at full whack. It's kind of be a nice just to see what happens when you put the gain and the volume both at full. See what that sounds like. So rock on, and next week I'll do a video when I've actually worked out a bit more of how to use it. I did have my pedal board, or the pedals and stuff stuck into it actually at the start of the video when I was playing around with it. It reacts differently to pedals than the wee Laney does. It seems to distort an awful lot easier, so like a distortion pedal that I had for a sort of low amount of distortion on the Laney, so you'd clean and then a low amount of distortion, it really seemed to be a lot of distortion in that amp, so it kind of pushes it further or something. So basically, if you're using a distortion pedal, you kind of want to be turning the gains down on it to get a similar sound out of that. Rock on, it's roasting today. Wow, the sweat's pouring at me. Catch you all later. Like and subscribe as well, please. Keep forgetting to ask that. I do put that thing on the TV screen. I'm nearly at 2,000 subs. Hopefully a lot of people will watch this video. I've got tons of videos if you're watching this. Normally I talk for ages. I would class this as a short one, and it's 15 minutes. I don't know how'd you do a video 4 minutes long? You see them all the time. It's like, I just get too much to say. Rock on, catch you later.